Welcome back, Smite fans. The video you just saw is telling you about the hi-rez expo, where all of these teams are fighting to go. You too can go get your tickets at hi-rezexpo.com. If aggro doesn't continue to outpun Hindu, then he may be there. I'll be there even if I'm not casting. Peckies will be there. That's the biggest thing right there.
I mean, it's a hell of a lot easier to just buy a ticket than to earn your way there through months and months of playing different splits, different lands. Just go to the website. It's totally worth every penny.
Absolutely. Well, my name is Tiger, joined on the desk with Aggro, and we're going to bring you the second to last set today. eXcellence. No, that is not the right one. Yes, eXcellence versus Cyclone. That is the right one.
That is the right one. It's going to be a good one, too. I mean, these are two middle-of-the-pack teams right now in the EUSCL, legitimately the second and third place teams. Yeah. So middle of the pack, but it's going to be a decent matchup. We'll see how eXcellence is able to respond to getting 2-0'd earlier in the split by Cyclone. We'll see if they can bounce back today.
With all these games we've seen today, whenever I see so many, I just want to go home and play Smite. If you are on console, you can go home today from the 20th to the 25th. All gods are free to play. You see something you like on the stream? Go ahead and come on. Go ahead and play it.
It's a dope deal. You can get some masteries done, and then that way, whenever they come around on the free rotation, you can play them in ranked and feed on new gods instead of the old gods.
And if you get matched with aggro, you can feed on him.
I'm food, dude. I mean, look, Zeus is fun, and you can kill me, but I'm going to kill you too. At least we have that.
Fair enough. Let's talk about eXcellence and Cyclone. Though we've seen them a couple of times today. This is both their last matchup for the day. They've kind of had a rocky day.
Both of them going 1-1 today with getting 2-0'd and getting a 2-0 for themselves. So 3 points, not a bad spot to be in, but if you can get 6 points in one day, you're sitting in a good spot.
Sitting nice, happy, and pretty. Both of these teams have pretty wide god pools, especially Cyclone. But Nemesis is going to be banned out first. We saw her once today. It didn't necessarily work out.
Yeah, I believe that was Cyclone who got to play her, I believe twice even, against Retribution earlier today. And it didn't really work out. Or no, that was Retribution who got to play them against Cyclone. I'm sorry. But eXcellence not wanting to see that in return. Banning out the Freya, that kind of standard throwaway ban when you're in the first pick position. And now this leaves Fafnir open. We'll see if eXcellence wants to take it.
They went ahead and banned out Terra and the Kuang, but the Freya, that's homework. That is homework right there. Cyclone completely wiped the floor with them the last time these guys played in week 1 with a Freya. But because you're getting rid of some of these things, a couple of things get by the wayside, including that Fafnir and an Kuang, which has been locked in for eXcellence.
I mean, we've seen the kind of work that Rapio can do with this Kuang. He used it today to great effectiveness, as he always does. But eXcellence passing up the Fafnir here, I don't know if I like this. I mean, Fafnir just brings so much CC and objective control to your team, and if you can play a good objective-oriented game, it just brings so much. I guess eXcellence really looking to get the picks and allow it, and I don't know, maybe Cyclone doesn't want to play Fafnir and they can get both. Maybe they've done some homework, and it looks like they may have, as Cyclone going with Sobek and Chronos instead of picking up the Fafnir.
I mean, Bloakley, he can play either. He's played normal ADCs in the mid lane. He's gone around and moved depending. Rosters change so much, but I mean, we may see Styley, who knows. But either way, magical ADCs are the way to go when it comes to Xbox now. But
it's not just on console, it's on PC as well. I mean, magical ADCs seem to be the flavor of the month right now, and it's because of gods like Fafnir that can kind of boost them, coerce them into attacking a lot faster and giving them some extra power as well. And eXcellence must know something that we don't, because Cyclone passing up on Fafnir, not only do they get the Fafnir, but they also get Kuang. So this is looking like a great draft thus far from eXcellence, and you get to pair it up with that Neith, something that a lot of Kuang players really like to have in that middle lane, some guaranteed CC for you, able to clear safely and effectively, but can also help you around the map. If you're ganking the solo lane, looking to pick up that execute, that World Weaver can be from anywhere on the map.
And I mean, that's what I want to see coming out from Cyclone, that Ratatoskr pick coming out. Speaking of being able to go across the map, that ultimate, I mean, I feel like I say this about all the junglers, but they all seem to excel when they're put on these gods that have these global abilities. Ratatoskr coming back into the meta, able to jump through the cosmos and come on down with that knock-up. It's huge for team fights.
Just being able to not be seen on wards a lot of the time, being able to go over the top of them, and maybe you do flash on them briefly, but you're not, it's not like walking over. If you're walking to a lane, it takes a little bit more time to get that gank going, as opposed to jumping along tree branches, as Ratatoskr does. We saw Auzrik run this to great effect earlier today, and if he can do what he did early in that first game especially, they'll be in a good spot.
I like the ban coming out from Cyclone, though. They're drafting these gods like Chronos, like Sobek, that don't have a way to get out of the Odin cage, so go ahead and automatically get rid of that and pick up the Erlang Shen in the process for Cyclone.
You're right. They don't have a way to get out of that. And against Erlang Shen specifically, Odin does very, very well because you shut down that healing out of the ultimate, the only sustain that Erlang has in his kit. He would also have no way of getting out. So whenever you're thinking of picking an Erlang or anything like that, you're thinking not only about what you have already, but what you're planning on picking and what they could potentially pick against that. So banning away the Odin, immediately locking in the Erlang. And somehow Raijin gets down to the 5th pick here for eXcellence.
The last pick, but going to be paired up with a Sun Wukong as the solo lane. Cyclone finishing out their roster with a Medusa.
Okay, so if I learned anything from watching Cyclone play earlier today, it is this: Sobek is going to be solo, Erlang support, Medusa mid. And it worked so well. I mean, they just had so much early pressure. And okay, I was right. Medusa mid, Erlang support, Sobek solo, a different look. We'll see if eXcellence is ready for it, because it did not look like Retribution was ready for it earlier today.
So with DineOhSaw on this Erlang, we haven't seen him in the support before. How is this going to translate in his kit?
I mean, you have the pin, right? You do have some decent CC. It roots and cripples you on a fairly low cooldown, though that cooldown recently got changed. Hold that thought, actually. It's going to be Sun
Predator's
Wukong.
getting pinned.
Yeah.
Sun Wukong getting taken out, that 5-man. All of Cyclone there to go ahead and just immediately take him out.
I mean,
First blood. The game hasn't even started yet.
Before the minion spawn, knowing that Predators probably likes to ward there fairly often. Now, can we actually ride along with Sun Wukong really quick to see if he was forced into that 72 transformations? No.
No, he didn't pick
so
anything.
he didn't pick anything. So he probably could have gotten out if he would have just picked something initially and used that 72 transformations. Yes, it's a little bit awkward once you get in a lane, but at least you don't get first blooded. But at the same token, at least he didn't pick it and still get first blooded. That's the worst case scenario for eXcellence. And while the first blood is not good by any stretch of the imagination, it is going on to the Sobek solo. There's not a whole lot he can do to kind of snowball that lane, at least if Predators plays it correctly. So not great, but not a death sentence by any means.
I think the moment he turned that corner and saw the last man coming out from Cyclone, he kind of decided he wasn't going to try to get away, because he was going into that lane where it's wider. He would have been able to fly into his tower, but instead, better to go ahead, die, level the cudgel. That way they can't capitalize any further when it comes to the lane clear.
I mean, you see what Erlang support brings to the table right off that first blood. I mean, the pin cripple, locking Sun Wukong in place, securing the first blood. And he also has the knock-up, and the taunt especially is what we saw him use to great effectiveness earlier today with that Medusa middle. Taunting them into the Petrify was a really potent combo. And it's a very tight window that you have to hit, because that taunt, whenever it's early in the game and doesn't have a whole lot of levels in it, does not last long on Erlang's ultimate. So they used it great earlier today. Let's see if they can do it again.
Now with Styley on that Chronos is already like pretty aggressive if you have the right support for it. How is this combo going to affect a Fafnir?
I mean, when you get pinned into an immediate time rift and then stop time locks you in place so you can't jump away anymore, still after that cripple dissipates, it definitely is a long CC chain, and it alleviates some of this pressure that you can put on Chronos, especially whenever you're up against a Neith. When you're picking a Neith in the duo lane specifically, you're looking for heavy push. You're looking to keep that opposing ADC underneath their tower. And when you've got an aggressive warrior support like an Erlang Shen, that's just not going to happen.
All right, so riding back in with Sun Wukong, I saw they're boxing pretty well. I don't think that it would have been as... Actually, I think that's actually perfect that this kill went on to Sun Wukong, because he's going to be able to solo farm himself back up. On solo island, he's not going to be as detrimented as, say, the mid pick or someone else.
Definitely not. You don't have to be worried about getting out-pressured by Sobek in lane too much. Sobek is definitely more of a, I'm just going to wait until I can start to impact team fights sort of solo laner. Predator's taking a decent amount of poke, but he's got enough potions still, and still has that ultimate available where he's not too worried.
Yeah, but Farleez forced to backflip out right into the damage coming out from Styley on that Chronos, forced to pop out another potion.
So Styley, a new addition to the Cyclone squad, and we've really only seen him on Freya, I believe, but showing a lot of Chronos proficiency there, waiting out that backflip and immediately lands Neith into that time rift. A ton of damage, and at this point, it's not that much damage in comparison to what it's going to be later in the game. I mean, once Chronos gets a couple of items online, not only do his auto attacks really hurt like a traditional ADC, but he's still a mage. He still has mage abilities. Specifically, that time rift is just a huge burst of damage.
I'm liking the pressure that Cyclone are putting on this duo lane. They're not giving Mr. Turtle any opportunities to try and jump forward. They're stopping him out with his own CC and forcing out the backflip from Farleez multiple times.
They just have to wait right now because of that Erlang support. They aren't going to get that lane pressure, and they understand that. So they just need to pick him off in the 3v3 fights. He's not going to be as strong as a straight-up Guardian like Fafnir, and that's where you want to look to abuse the warrior in the early mid-game.
4-man rotation onto the damage camp, but Turtle jumping forward, trying to take it for himself. Instead, not going to be able to. Raijin coming through, forcing out Turtle's ultimate, and now they may try to give up Chase. That's going to be a good stun coming out from Turtle. DineOhSaw taking so much damage. The Taiko drums coming through, but Maloaise going to find the kill and have a nice tasty snack in the meantime.
Bloakley, another great Petrify. We saw him do so much work with this earlier today, and again, finding 3 with that Petrify. Not quite enough to save his support because Kuang able to get that execute off right as the ultimate was coming out, but able to trade it out. That's important. You don't want to be giving up kills for free. You did get the red buff, and you did lose your support, yes, but you got a kill on the other end as well, and that's definitely good.
Auzrik coming around the back line, taking his own speed buff that Predators was trying to cheekily steal. Maloaise sitting in the back line, watching the speed camp just be taken out by Auzrik. But Predators heading back into lane before anybody on Cyclone can lock him down.
Maloaise now starting to get zoned out of some experience watching Sobek, as you put it. I mean, that's literally what he did. He watched Sobek tail whip that speed buff down and take it. And now it looks like he isn't going to stay and help Predators. Backing when Predators wanted to go for his blue buff, I don't understand that decision. If you're going to stay and help him. Or Predator should be waiting until Kuang is there. It's very important to make sure that your Kuang is getting the gold and experience that he needs to get to that late game hyper carry potential. And right there, he's missing out on 2 buffs now. He didn't get either of those buffs on the right side.
Turtle and Fly to come out to help out with the blue buff at least, and between the two of them, we're able to take those right mid harpies, but now getting a little bit of CC from DineOhSaw, a good pin, and that's long range pin too, that's huge.
Long range, but it is on a longer cooldown like we mentioned earlier, so you want to be saving it for some important engagements, or when you know, like that scenario right there, that it's just going to be poke, there isn't going to be any engagement on you anytime soon. And the player to watch for me is going to be 50 meter Fly, because he is the one that put in a ton of work in the last set on this Raijin against their former opponents, and he just had such a great game. Let's see if he could do it again. He went for this Soul Requiere build, like building rushing Book of Thoth sort of look, but I'm very surprised that he didn't get abused for that because you have no potions with that build.
Predators close to getting abused, right on the edge of that ultimate, forced to go ahead and use those 72 transformations to get out. And looking at this solo matchup, like, why is this going in Sobek's favor versus Sun Wukong?
I mean, Sun Wukong's going to take some poke. He doesn't have any innate sustain in his kit outside of the ultimate, but he's not really looking to kill Sobek. He's just looking to clear the wave and out-rotate Sobek. You're not going to be able to kill Sobek unless he misplays. Hold that thought, a nice double taunt in the mid lane.
Fly having to go ahead and dash away, forcing out Fafnir once again, but CycloneGG want to go ahead and back off. They wanted that pick, they wanted that kill potential. As soon as Fafnir came out, they didn't have it.
No, but they did get the purification out from Sun Wukong, or excuse me, Kuang. So they've got some Kuangs and Kongs on this squad, don't they? The Kuang purification is now down. So this is a period of time where he's going to be extremely vulnerable. Once he gets crippled, he can't use that water illusion. So even if you just hit a long-range pin onto him, you can definitely start to burst him down quickly at this point in the game.
Is this just more of a tactic of long range and slow bullying onto Kuang to slowly starve him out?
Definitely the idea of starving him out by taking away his buffs. We saw Ezzuna on that speed buff early, and I'm assuming they're going to be on the speed buff yet again because you don't want to let him get to that late game potential, because even if you do keep him down early, it's always going to be there. He's going to have the potential eventually. It's just a matter of when he gets to it. So the longer that Cyclone can delay that inevitable burst damage coming out of the Kuang, the better for them.
So as a player, coming out from a set, you just got 2-0'd as Cyclone. You want to come back in. You fought against eXcellence before and you won 2-0 in the first week. That was your debut game. But how come we're not seeing that same aggression coming out from Cyclone?
I mean,
Is that a mental thing?
it could be, but I haven't noticed that they are, you know, gun shy or anything like that. Well, here's a gun coming out. Sobek gonna go into the ultimate, but he's gonna take so much damage using that CC immunity for now, but Maloaise still wants the execute.
Gonna try to teleport forward, but Sobek reading that like a book, dashing out of the way and back into the safety of the tower. But in the meantime, Cyclone starting out this Gold Fury.
Right away looking at the Gold Fury. As soon as you see Ao on that right side, there
Oh,
is a
man.
Wrath available, and there it goes in the way of Cyclone. 50 meter up into the ultimate, but taking a ton of damage.
And now Turtle forced to jump away as well, Fly. I mean, struggling a little bit, but the Taiko drums did enough damage for them to go ahead and back off, and Turtle going to be able to clear out, at least with the fires.
As soon as you commit to that right side, you're going to be looking at the Gold Fury if you're the other team. And when you still have that Wrath available, eXcellence needed to be around the Gold Fury already. So when you know that you're going to be ganking that right-hand side, you know that that's the normal response, is heading over towards the Gold Fury. And if you let them get into the Gold Fury pit, it's already too late. They're already going to be pulling it. You're already out of position. It's like basketball. You need to box them. If you can get the ball in the low post, it's too late. You have to do your work before the play actually starts. And so once Cyclone was in the Gold Fury pit, it was basically free because they had that Wrath. So if you're eXcellence, you actually post up around the Gold Fury and don't let them get near it. Don't let them get anywhere close to starting it, or else it's just going to get wrathed and you're going to lose the gold.
Predator's getting aggressed upon, just uses transformations, and Maloaise jumping forward, or not Maloaise, Auzrik with the Ratatoskr not able to lock anything down. I think that's the first Rat ultimate we've seen across the map.
It is, and he was very aggressive earlier today with that Rat ultimate, so I'm kind of surprised to see how conservative he's been with it. But that was the right time to look for one. Just good game sense there from Predators, going for the Ox form right away, knowing that something was up with the way that his lane mate was playing it.
All right, so hitting level 12 soon when it comes to these solo laners. As soon as they go back, what would you recommend? What do you think we're going to see relic-wise coming out from these guys?
Meditation. Meditation 100%. When you have that much health in your kit, you're building health anyways because it scales off of that. It's just so strong. Giving that burst heal to your team, even if you don't have a set healer or a sustain character, having that burst sustain to kind of top your team off after a one fight, or keeping a high priority target at middle to high health is just so important. It's really rare that you see a meditation not be picked up in the second slot, and basically the only time you do is whenever your support already has it and you're lacking that extra support active. So on the side of Cyclone, we could see Sobek elect to go for a sprint or a shell or something else, because we do see DineOhSaw with the meditation already, but I still expect to see another meditation coming out of Ezzuna.
Predators tried to get cheeky, wanted to take a steal on that Gold Fury, or on the speed buff, but instead not able to find it, forcing out Ezzuna's ultimate at least, but they lost the Neith one in the process.
Not only that, but Kuang is not in position to defend his own speed. Cyclone on point with these timers. It looks like they stole it away, and now Mr. Turtle is going to be looked at.
Yeah, Turtle getting pinched between three. The Taiko drums are coming through the wall, but there's nobody there. Completely whips. Beautiful two-man ultimate coming out from Bloakley. Turtle going to get pinched back, forcing out the ultimate once again, where he takes no damage, but he's going to take it as soon as he comes out. He tries to jump away, but he has DineOhSaw on him, going to get taken out.
DineOhSaw just in all of Cyclone, just in superior position to eXcellence there. The ultimate thrown over the wall by 50-meter fly, just nowhere close to anyone. I get the idea, but that is such a game-changing ultimate, even at this point in the game, that you want to save it for an important engagement. Even if 50-meter fly hits all of those shots, what are they doing? They aren't really doing anything. You're going to get some poke damage, yes, and maybe dissuade the engagement, but you're just in the wrong position at the wrong time. Kuang not in the position to defend a speed buff. Cyclone recognize it, and immediately they're on top of it.
Predator's ultimate forced out. Somersault Cloud going to be just fine. Maloaise looking at any opportunities to get some experience, get some gold. He's going to go in here with Auzrik, try to take these camps, but he's going to get pinched out and forced into the water clone just so DineOhSaw can't get him in the back, can't come up from behind.
Nice confident play there by Maloaise. Sees DineOhSaw coming underneath him on that sentry ward on the bottom right-hand mids, and knows that he's able to exchange some poke for free there. Having that water illusion ready, just knew it was coming behind him.
I'm surprised, though. I expected Kuang, as passive as he's been playing, as much as he's been bullied out, to be way further behind when it comes to Ratatoskr.
No, he is doing a decent job of finding farm elsewhere on the map. He's finding it in the left lane, he's finding it in the mid lane, making sure he's sharing the right amount of waves to not put his lane or his partners behind, his teammates, but he is making sure that he finds that farm. But at the end of the day, even if you're finding farm elsewhere, it's more important to be getting your buffs. You have to be securing those as well as possible. But it's not only him. His teammate has to be there. His teammates have to be there too. If it was just him on that speed buff, they're still going to lose it because all of Cyclone was there, but while no one from eXcellence was.
I mean, it's about counting those sacrifices. Lose the buff or possibly keep the buff, but then lose your life.
Even if you're looking at the left-hand side, looking to take their back harpies, right? Looking to alleviate some pressure on your Neith, trying to kill the Chronos. Doing something productive with your time is more important than just letting them have it.
CycloneGG want to go ahead and be productive with their time, trying to take out this Gold Fury, but Turtle is here, opening up the dragon form, but Medusa able to take out Maloaise in the back line. No more dragon, no more execute, while Auzrik goes into the air looking for Farleez. But there's a Sanctuary in the pluck back. Auzrik trying to still find him. Farleez definitely going to fall here.
Nowhere to go, all by himself in that left-hand lane. Now it's just Predators, Fly, and Mr. Turtle, the dragon, here to defend against this Gold Fury pull from Cyclone, but Wrath's still available. And that's all because Maloaise just got completely picked out. Bloakley with another great ultimate, set him up, turned him to stone, and now here comes the Gold Fury secure.
I mean, Gold Fury secure going to come down. Fly going to be able to take out Auzrik, but the Gold Fury still goes to Cyclone, and they're going to lose Fly in the process to Styley. DineOhSaw is incredibly low, but Predators, forced into the ultimate, is nowhere near to try and take him out with the Somersault Cloud, and he jumps back in. Predators will find the WAP, but Ezzuna going to be able to find Predators in return.
So that time the play from 50-meter Fly was really good. He waits, goes around the corner, no ward coverage there from Cyclone, throws the Raijin onto the Gold Fury, and immediately Thunder crashes and insta-kills Auzrik. So that Hog is all of a sudden not there. The Gold Fury's up for contention. He almost got it. Nice play there by Fly.
Look at the rotation coming out from Cyclone, immediately going to that speed camp, taking it from eXcellence.
Even Styley's here now. I mean, even Styley has the timer on the speed buff and is there before Cyclone is. Maloaise, dude, I just got like, my brain just exploded there for a moment.
That was a nice play.
It was just so close for the Gold Fury. I said it was free, and it probably should have been. And then 50-meter Fly comes in and just explodes Auzrik. It was so close. But then afterwards, Maloaise farming up that middle lane. He's got to be on the speed buff on time, even if the other jungler isn't there. We see Styley making the rotation himself. He's got to be there. He hasn't been there on time except for the first one, and I believe the second one. Every other one has gone the way of Cyclone, and that's going to be a problem. You see now, down about 700 gold. I know the Gold Furies are influencing in that, but you could be a lot closer if you're just there getting your speed buff. Not to mention, you're losing a buff. You're not able to move around the map as quickly, reposition, gank, all those sorts of things. Speed buff is so valuable, not just for that golden experience, but for the actual buff it gives you.
And it's not just a speed buff. We've seen Cyclone invade on this damage camp before earlier on. Right now, they just threw a ward down just so they can have those rotations, know when they're going, know when it's up, see anything that have changed, maybe any item differences beforehand. But it's 3-7, 15 minutes, and almost 40 seconds in right now. And CycloneGG looking pretty nice.
They're up a good amount of gold, about 3K right now, and that experience really, really big right now. 4,000 experience, and that's where you see the smart aggression from Cyclone start to work out.
So you're all about those team comps and what they want to try and accomplish when it comes to later on in the game.
Sure.
With Kuang starting to kind of fall off, how is that going to affect the entire team as a whole?
Well, him falling behind is definitely hurting the curve. When you look at the team as a whole, what their team fight is going to be and how strong it's going to be, with eXcellence's team comp, they've got the Neith and the Sun Wukong to try and keep them in the game in the early to mid phases, right? That's where they're going to be strongest with their CC and with their early base damage on their abilities. And as you get to the 20, 22, 25-minute mark, that's when you see characters like Raijin and Kuang start to be a lot more effective once they get those items and levels online. But with Kuang being so far behind, it's going to delay that curve. So now we're looking at 26, 27 minutes possibly instead of 25 minutes, and that's going to allow Cyclone to really bully them up until that point.
Cyclone had been a ticking time bomb. They're waiting for the opportunity to get aggressive. Auzrik, of course, going to be on the receiving end of the Neith ultimate, and Turtle is right there with them. They didn't get to start the fight. Instead, it's going to be eXcellence. Maloaise taking out Auzrik in the backline. Fly taking out Styley. The taiko drums are still flying, though. DineOhSaw in the backline pretty low, but Ezzuna taking out Farleez.
That was a great engagement there, and it looks like they aren't done. Predator is going to pick up Bloakley as well, and even DineOhSaw's pretty low here under this middle tower, but it's just Predators against him.
And Predator's taking a lot of damage when it comes... Oh, there's another thwap. He's finding 2 in a row coming out from Predators. He was taking a lot of damage from the tower, but now he's fine, he's safe, he's nowhere near there, and Ezzuna's the only one that's really amassing any kind of defense.
And there's where we see the power of that meditation. Luckily for Cyclone, they did manage to pick up Neith, so they won't have the tower push that they would like after that big fight, but eXcellence being the initiators that fight made such a big difference. They weren't waiting to get taunted and then Bloakley ulted. They weren't waiting for Rat to come crashing down. They were the ones with their foot on the gas pedal, and you see Maloaise doing a perfect job swinging in, playing in Assassin, which is what you want out of your Kuang, waiting until Auzrik gets low, then Water Illusions in, and it destroys him. And hey, look! He got a speed buff.
He finally got his speed buff, and I love the play coming out from eXcellence, especially looking at Predators. When Predators couldn't stay in that fight anymore, it was only Ezzuna there. He bird forms all the way to the other side of the map and takes out the tier 1 on the duo side.
Just making, and that's because that eXcellence was still willing to show face in the middle lane, saying, hey, yeah, maybe we want to take this tower after we killed you guys, but really we're just worried about Predators making sure that he can get that tower on the left-hand side, because that left-hand tower is more important at this stage in the game because it allows Chronos to be less safe.
Oh, but look at this. Cyclone may be able to make that up by taking this Gold Fury. Farleez is here on the other side. I mean, at this point, there's no real opportunity for him to be aggressive because eXcellence are at a huge disadvantage because they don't have that Wrath.
No, they don't have that Wrath, but Auzrik was still in the middle lane and only came in and hogged that objective whenever it was down to 2%. I'm surprised Farleez didn't want to just stay, just throw a Spirit Arrow. I mean, Neith is one of the safest characters in the game when it comes to clearing the minion wave, and it's not too different there. I'm kind of surprised. I would have liked to see Farleez take one more step in and use that Spirit Arrow to try and steal because he could have gotten it.
Or try to unravel a weave there or something. Every little bit counts. Even we've seen Gold Fury, we've seen steals even yesterday just come out from one auto attack. Blew my mind yesterday, but Predators looking pretty nice. You can't even tell he was the one that got first blooded.
No, he's had a great game thus far. Is a level down right now to Sobek, and Ezzuna has been so effective on the Sobek solo today.
Here comes the Dragon Turtle coming through, looking for blood, but it's going to get stunned out, taking quite a bit of damage from Styley. And at that point, CycloneGG take the right call and continue to back off. But Predators looking pretty low. Ezzuna finally letting them have a little breathing room.
Letting him off the hook a little bit, and I love the build coming out of Ezzuna because it's cheap. It is a gold effective build. Now he's coming around the back end, looking to set up for his team, plucks Farleez into a horrible position.
Good Farleez backflip, forcing right into the Sanctuary. Taiko drums coming through, but instead has a turnaround with the CC immunity, doesn't want to get Medusa, so instead that's going to whiff there, but looking a lot of damage at Maloaise. Ezzuna going to get credit for that last kill, and Auzrik is so low on the other side.
He is, and he baited the Thunder Crash out from 50-meter Fly, who's now in a ton of trouble, forced to Sanctuary, but it's not going to be enough. DineOhSaw gets the last hit.
He ain't even going to make it to the ground. He just gets plucked out and then eradicated immediately. Doesn't even get to touch the ground. Predators may be following suit here. He can't dodge and duke for long. There's 3 members here, but there goes the bull. It's beautiful, and it's quick enough to dodge.
He's out. Nice. Putting on the juke shoes there.
Wow.
By Predators, who's still having a good game, though he was almost soloed on that right-hand side by Ezzuna. That really shouldn't be happening against the Sobek, even at this stage in the game. And what we were talking about before that engagement kind of broke out was this item build from Ezzuna. So cheap and so cost effective. Look at the amount of health he has already. Level 20, 4-0-4, sitting near the top of the damage charts, I'm sure, on top of the damage charts, I should say. And he's flanking correctly, he's playing a bully front line, and he's always in the right spot with that lurking in the water. He'll force out the Neith backflip, and Neith backflips immediately into his lurking in the water. He just plays this character so well, and it's been a problem for every team they played against today.
I don't get to see chat right now, but I'm pretty sure as soon as you mentioned Sobek and we saw the player damage, F's in chat right now talking about top damage Sobek. He absolutely loves the god, and that's the reason why. I mean, even 21 minutes in, as a solo laner, he is completely wrecking. He's got so much player damage. He's able to get into these situations, get himself out, and set up so many kills with those plucks.
Sobek is just so good whenever you're even or ahead. The problem with it is if you get behind, you feel and are really, really useless. You don't contribute a whole lot. You aren't tanky enough to be a nuisance and in the front line, and you don't do enough damage to actually influence a team fight. But when you can be ahead or even, you see the power that it can bring. That lurking in the water just has so much damage on it, and it's just such a disruptive force right now.
Speaking of disruption, Predator's doing a good job of taking down that tier 1 tower, being the biggest thorn in Ezzuna's side right now. I mean, juking out the pluck, able to just run his way, bull rush through. Absolutely fantastic.
I mean, Ezzuna's okay with this. Even though he loses his tower and all that, he's still got now a full Spirit's Robe online, so he has a ton of CDR. Really, he was looking to use the ultimate there, not to set up a kill, but to force out Predator's ultimate, kind of bluff the gank coming over, because if you can force out that Sun Wukong ultimate, it's going to take a lot longer to come off cooldown than lurking in the waters, especially whenever you have this much CDR. You've got the cooldown boots, you've got the Breastplate of Valor, and now the Spirit's Robe. Sobek is capped at CDR, and so you're going to have plucks and tail whips and sickening strikes and lurking in the water all over the team fight.
Honestly, I don't think he's that bothered by it either, because Gold Fury's about to come up. He doesn't want to preoccupy himself with the worries of the complete other side of the map, especially when, I mean, essentially a tower isn't that big of a deal when it comes to those big objectives.
Especially not a tier 1 tower, only 500 gold for the other team. Yes, it does make it a little bit harder to contest the Fire Giant if you're on the back foot because you don't have that extra tower to run to. But by the time the Fire Giant's being looked at, a lot of times you're just going to get dove under your tier 1 tower anyways, so it's not a big deal. What is a big deal is that Cyclone could secure their 4th Gold Fury already this game.
Where are eXcellence? They're only just now showing up here, giving CycloneGG perfect pickings of where they want to go ahead and start. Gold Fury's already been going. Maloaise is here. Turtle is here, and yet they're just turning around. They're not looking at it. They're not doing anything.
Well, there's a pause coming out. Maybe they had some connection issues that makes them not want to go in there. But at the same time, it's the same sort of theory, right? You don't want to let them get into the Gold Fury pit because you're letting them into the low post with the basketball, basically. You're letting them into the Gold Fury pit with the Wrath. You can't let them get it there because without the Wrath on your side, it's so hard to contest against it.
I mean, we've seen those clutch steals, but we haven't seen them coming out from eXcellence. That is yet again the 4th Gold Fury of the match, going to CycloneGG, sending their gold difference back down to almost 4,000.
And that's not a good spot for you if you're on eXcellence right now. 4,000 gold, you're starting to see that materialize in a lot of different items, and that's just really difficult to deal with whenever you have this later game team comp in your mid-jungle combination.
I mean, in CycloneGG, they're keeping the pressure on the left side. They're keeping the pressure on the right. Once again, beelining, taking that speed buff. And now, it's not just going to be a Gold Fury this time. Fire Giant is also a possibility.
And if you're giving up the Gold Fury, why aren't you on your speed buff?
Or the Fire Giant, or something.
Right. Again, you're standing there watching them do this and not having any sort of response. It's never just this is what we're doing. It's this is what we're not doing and this is what we're doing instead. There's always that next step. You're never just deciding this is what we're going to do right now. You have to think about what you're going to be doing after that and after that and after that. And there's that foresight just doesn't seem to be there for eXcellence right now.
Predator's going to get pinched between two. Styley here as well, bringing out the CC and forcing out the Somersault Cloud once again. Going to be able to heal up and be just fine for now. Looking for a place to crash down. Give Ezzuna a little bit of a run for his money, but he is going to get plucked out even amidst the 72 transformations. Predator's going to have to face Styley again.
Yeah, Predator's going to be in some trouble here because of this greedy build that he went, and really no dedicated magical protection. Yes, he has the Hide of the Urchin, but when you're up against a Chronos in the late game, that is not going to be enough. And you saw how much damage Ezzuna and Styley were able to do together, just forcing out the ultimate and still finding the kill.
And he's definitely suffering for it. And I mean, all of eXcellence are suffering for it right now. This passivity shouldn't be coming out. Fire Giant is now down to about half. They're going to be able to leash it. Turtle is here, but I mean, they're just going to continue looking at him. He's going to be able to get pinched here, and there's nobody in eXcellence is here.
No one wants to fight with Mr. Turtle. That was a good engagement for them. Yes, they were down a person, but Bloakley was down below half HP from tanking up that fire giant, and eXcellence just didn't want to go in, which I don't really I mean, I do understand because you're down, but what was the fight that eXcellence won outright? The one where they were the aggressors, the one where they wanted to push the fight themselves. Every time they've let Cyclone come to them, they've lost the fight, or more importantly, lost the objective.
And even in that mid fight where they did engage, Cyclone were setting up to do the same thing. If that Neith ultimate had been 5 seconds later, CycloneGG would have already been in a fight. They would have already went ahead and aggressed.
And that all started from Mr. Turtle in the middle lane, jumping in and transforming into that dragon right in the middle of everyone, forcing everyone to turn their attention to the support, which is not what you want to do. And he's been, I think he's been having a pretty good game, sitting 0-2-4, yes, at the bottom of the damage charts, right above, actually, Auzrik, but that's what you expect out of your support. I've liked his decision-making and play style thus far. We just haven't seen the rest of the team really go in with him.
CycloneGG are a very aggressive team. They're sharks right now. Sobek is literally a shark. They smell the blood and they smell the fear. What can eXcellence do?
Try not to get picked, and that doesn't look like it's going to happen now. An ultimate coming down onto Farleez, forcing out his Sanctuary, but this puts Auzrik in a bad spot.
And Ezzuna in the middle of the fray as well. eXcellence sticking very safe. Meanwhile, Predator's the only one really doing any backline aggression at the moment. Instead, they're just huddling around this tower, turtling.
So you asked what they could do in the not only is it not get picked, but look for Cyclone to make an over-aggressive mistake. But right now, Cyclone's picking the right fights, looking for those picks themselves.
Yep, Medusa coming through, not going to be able to lock anybody down, but Auzrik taking out Predators in the backline. Bloakley taking out Maloaise, forcing out the dragon. Here comes Turtle, but he's going to have to jump back into the safety and get plucked right back into 5 members of Cyclone.
And Ezzuna's just doing it all right now for Cyclone. He's still on top of the damage charts, significantly too. He's the only one close to 20,000 damage, and the CC he's bringing is just too much for eXcellence to handle right now.
Farleez getting pinned out by Erlang Shen. There goes the backflip, but everybody is willing to follow up when it comes to finding the kill. Ezzuna getting the last hit.
Ezzuna, again, 6-0-7 now, almost at 20K. Now the Titan's going to be looked at, 50-meter fly up into the ultimate, looking for the damage, but the shell going to be popped, and it's not going to be enough. This Titan's going to fall.
And he's going to get CC'd. Styley getting credit for the kill, but it would have been Ratatoskr otherwise. Fly is going to be able to take out Auzrik with the help of the Titan, but it's too late. It's already done. eXcellence dropping to Cyclone.
I've had enough, man. Ban the Sobek.
Sobek, man.
I don't want to see it. I mean, if you watch the sets earlier with Cyclone, Ezzuna just does so much work with it. Again, I think that's 3 games in a row he hasn't died on it. I mean, it's just preposterous. He's hitting almost all of his charge praise. He's setting up with his CC. But if you're going to let him have it, you're letting him survive the laning phase. And that you just can't do that, because otherwise, Sobek becomes this unkillable shark that does 1 million damage to your squishies and also brings a ton of CC to the team.
Well, I mean, they gave him the first blood. He helped out. He either got the kill or the assist. I don't remember quite yet. But
he got the kill,
but
but
they let him start to get momentum, and you don't do that.
But Sobek's laning phase is so... like,